Bad me, I muted the microphone. Welcome back to Broadcast Team Alpha. I'm your host, Tom Schaefer. Co-hosting with me today is Nori Love and Agi Nost. And I want to let you know that this podcast is available on iTunes. You can also get a re-listen right here on LNM Radio Network. And we're on YouTube. And I'd also like you to check out our Facebook page. And we're easy to find. Just do a search for Broadcast Team Alpha. So, last week, let me give a little recap. We did an introduction to the mastermind concept. What is a mastermind? And so we outlined and laid out some of the basic principles. And so today, we're going to go a little bit further. We're going to start taking it a little bit further, and we're going to talk about quieting the mind. And so, very good. That's right. Keep quiet. And so, Nori, I think you've got the helm.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And shh, quiet.
No. Yes, and I messed up my mic.
Yeah, I know.
I was so quiet. I was quiet.
You were so quiet we couldn't hear you. So we are going to be talking about quieting the mind in relation to the mastermind concept, because you can't connect with your higher mind or the universal consciousness mind if you've got a really busy monkey mind, chattery mind, analytical mind going on. So later we're going to actually do a relaxation because if your body relaxes, your mind will relax. But masterminds are one of the most powerful tools that were ever used by successful people. It's one concept that many of the successful people, and it's the one concept that many millionaires give credit to as a result of what's that one thing that helped them to shift. It challenges your current thinking. It makes you stretch beyond your boundaries and limitations. And it helps you to join forces, if you will, to join mind forces. And just know that, the mind, the thoughts that we think are actually energy. So if you wanted to envision it as, as sound waves going out and going into a big central location where other minds join it, you can imagine how intense that energy would be. And that's where the intention is placed for the mastermind group. There are many reasons to have a mastermind group. It could be industrial, it could be corporate, it could be health, it could be, there's a lot of secret masterminds that go on, and those are the people that are, like meeting in mansions in California somewhere, who are plotting, their next success. But it's 2018, but back in the 5th and 6th century, the Knights of the Round Table, King Arthur, he was, the famed British leader, they gathered in order to maintain order and success in the kingdom. So that was a mastermind. Franklin Roosevelt, he had the Brain Trust, our 32nd president, and he came together with other brilliant minds to solve particularly challenging problems that the country was facing. There were the Inklings, right? Two classic series of literature were born out of that, The Chronicles of Narnia and Lord of the Rings. There was the Oxford Mastermind. The Inklings were there. There was C.S. Lewis, J.R.R. Tolkien, Charles Williams, Owen Barfield. I mean, just the most brilliant of brilliant minds. And then there was another one that I think Agi is going to tell us about. Agi?
Yeah, this concept of the mastermind, it's been around for a very long time. In fact, there are even older writings that goes all the way back to the Roman Empire, when Caesar had the most brilliant minds together, and they were also planning and brainstorming about how to keep the Roman Empire. Of course, it didn't work, but they still did the mastermind group. So yeah, there is some phenomenal history on this. And for even in the United States, business use it, church group use it. They may not think of it in the terms of a mastermind group, but they still use it, and they are able to tap into the principles of it, even though they may not even know what they're doing. But a lot of the successful people and businesses, like you mentioned, Nori, they are doing this on a regular basis, at least once a week. Some businesses do it every morning. In fact, I used to teach some of the brainstorming principles to corporations for a little while. And they got together in the morning, like 8 o'clock. And at 8:05, they locked the door. Anybody that was late couldn't get in. So everybody was there, usually at 8 o'clock, and they spent 15 minutes talking about what are we going to do today? What are we going to do to become successful at what we are going to do? So when you do this, you don't just talk about your own thoughts and ideas. You tap into everybody around the table. We join the minds together for a common purpose. And we got to remember, the definition of the mastermind is when two or more minds are united in harmony. They create a third mind, which has the potential mind power of the two or more of them multiplied by each other. So if there is 10 people around the table in the morning at 8 o'clock, 10 times 10 is 100. So it's not just 10 minds that is working on the problem. You have the mind power of 100 minds. So this is one of the things that works very well for corporations. And I tell you, there is one phenomenal example, dates back almost 100 years. And that is in regard to Andrew Carnegie and how he created the steel empire of the United States at the time. See, the steel industry was dying back then. They were importing steel, and they were just going to pot, so to speak. And Andrew Carnegie, he was a great mind by himself, but he knew nothing about making and marketing steel. But he became the head of the largest steel conglomerate in the world. He created a mastermind of experts in each section of the business that he wanted to create. One of them was a metallurgist, and another one a chief chemist, and also the plant works manager, and he had legal advisor, and he had an accountant, and there was 20 of these people all together in that mastermind group. And they got together on a regular basis, at least twice a week, from what I understand. And they did that for 20-minute sessions, or until the ideas kind of bogged down and they didn't get anywhere with it. Then they took a 15 or 10-minute break, where they got up, walked around, had a cup of coffee. Back then they smoked a cigar, or they walked out into the hallway and just thought on their own. And then they got back together again. Before every 20-minute session, they followed what it says. These were Christian people, so they followed some principle that is written up very well in the Bible. It is short, but it is so powerful. And it says, instead of meditation, which I prefer to call it, they called it be still. They had a 3 to 5 minute session before their 20-minute session, where they just closed their eyes and in silence. By doing this, they turned to the broadcasting radio part of the brain and the receiving set of the mind of the brain. And this is proven by the fact that many of the awareness and the ideas and the solutions they found did not come from the present knowledge of the people in the panel or the mastermind group. It came from somewhere else. Now, what does that tell us? They tapped into an outside source that universal consciousness that even back then was not, very well understood, but it is there, and they tapped into it. They matched their vibrations with what was in the universal consciousness as a concept of what they wanted to create, and they pulled that back. They got the knowledge of it, and then they delivered that to the different 20 people for their divisions to go and work out the details. And that is why this is so phenomenally powerful, and we're going to do that. Remember last time we did Mastermind 101? Okay, this is Mastermind 102. So we're going to go on with this, and we're going to get deeper and deeper into it, and you're going to learn some things here that you can take with you. Take it back to your family, have a family mastermind, you can have a church mastermind, you can create a community mastermind, or states can do it, and nations can do it. Look what happened in the last presidential election. People were sick and tired of all the corruption. So the minds of the nation got together, and we got something different. So I don't know, Nori. I was rambling there a little bit, but I hope it made sense to you.
Yes, it made good sense. And I love that Andrew Carnegie did the steel mill, and Franklin Roosevelt, I didn't say it, it was actually called the brain trusts. And there's one more example, an old one that I really love. It was the tennis cabinet, and that was Theodore Roosevelt. And he would get a bunch of brilliant minds together for, air quotes, vigorous play. So it would be friends and diplomats and even comrades in arms, like famous generals, young military aides, and they'd all get together and they would work out. And while they exercised their body, they would mastermind, and they would come up with amazing, thoughts and leading thoughts, and thoughts that actually shaped our life as we know it now. So what are some of the benefits of being in a mastermind? Certainly, you're supported, right? You have a great support system, because we choose people to be in masterminds intentionally. Like if you could imagine, let's say you wanted to do your own internal mastermind right now, and I did this last night, and I picked 5 people that I would want in my mastermind that I could meet with weekly or anytime I wanted. So, I wanted someone who could really think about, quantum possibilities. So I wanted Stephen Hawking in mind, and I wanted the Dalai Lama in mind for patience and tolerance. And I wanted Napoleon Hill in mind, just because he's brilliant with mastermind. I wanted Louise Hay in mind, because that's all about, self-healing and healing the limitations that previously held me back. And I wanted Bruce Lipton in mind, because, I'm all about epigenetics and healing the mind body. So if you, the listener right now, would think of 5 people that you would want to help you, right, that you can go to and get information from and share ideas with for that thing that you want to create in your life, whether it's success or your health or something else. Can you imagine who those people would be? I mean, the possibilities are phenomenal. And actually, to tell the honest God truth, I have 12 people in my mastermind, because I couldn't keep it to 5. I couldn't.
Yeah,
I could.
I ended up that way too.
Yeah, but some of the other reasons for masterminds are like a community mastermind, like a community group would come together to benefit the community. Of course, network mastermind, if you're into certain products that you sell, or people that you're networking with. And then, of course, there's the secret masterminds that go on, and those are usually 3 to 5 people, and it's secret, and usually there's an entry contract, and there's actually usually a non-disclosure act that you have to sign. They're hard to find. They're hard to get into, because the members are very, very carefully selected. So I don't even want to, guess at who would be having them, but I think all of us could imagine who might be having that kind of mastermind. And, one of the things that really came to mind, no pun intended, was when you're in a mastermind group, you have to be willing to take brutal feedback and maybe even criticism from the people. I mean, hopefully everybody would be diplomatic, but some of the best ideas are born out of the idea that you put out there, and then somebody knocked half of it off as not being valid, and then somebody added something to it. And so we have to be willing to allow what we say to be added to or subtracted from in order to create the best result. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And
Absolutely.
I bet somebody out there listening to this, they caught something that Nori said. And that was that not everybody on her mastermind group was alive today.
Right.
There doesn't have to be a live person, because the energy consciousness of that person that lived, let's say, 500 years ago is still there. It can be tapped into outside of the physical. So you can bring that person into the mastermind group. And I think you did that on purpose, didn't you, Nori?
Well, no, I didn't do it on purpose. It's just the way that I think. It's the way that I think, so I always feel like people who have gone before us their energy is still with us.
Yeah, because we got to know that there is no such thing as death. There is only change. We change vibration and we move into another reality. So we are still there even after we drop the body. So we are attainable. Our knowledge and consciousness can be summoned and joined and communicated with.
Right. So,
Question.
Yes, I had a question for you, Tom.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Who do you have in your mastermind group?
Well, and it was partly related to a question, and that was, can you use imaginary characters, like characters from a movie or TV characters or comic book characters? Can you use your superheroes as masterminds in your own mind?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, okay, then that makes it safe for me to say that I've had Kirk, Spock, McCoy, and Nikola Tesla as part of mine.
Nice. I would join that group.
And really, sometimes I think Spock kind of dominates because he's got the logic, but I like the craziness of Captain Kirk, and sometimes McCoy kind of channels some emotional things, and then there's Tesla for me, who kind of brings it all back to a little bit more of a cosmic reality.
And I do know, and I love the people that you pick, because it highlights how we pick people for the specific quality that they bring. I mean, the Dalai Lama is going to bring something totally different than Einstein for me, so that's beautiful. That's a great example. And maybe even a better example for people to relate to, because, when you think about, talking with dead people, it might turn some people off thinking, that we're like seancing. And it's nothing like that. It's all about energy.
Yeah, absolutely. And like the Dalai Lama said, my God is love.
So, well, love is the highest vibration.
Yes, it is. And it doesn't matter. You can be an atheist and you can still tap into, because atheists, they know how to love too. It doesn't matter. Religion or spirituality or atheism or anything else, we can still practice love.
Well, and that's why this mastermind concept is so amazing, because it is inclusive. It doesn't say that you have to believe a certain thing. And truth be told, I have Jesus in my mastermind. But whether you're an atheist, well, then you can connect to the energy part. and if you want to bring your religion into it, you certainly can. So it's completely inclusive, and we don't exclude anybody because of that. I mean, we want certain traits in people. We certainly want somebody who is driven and is passionate and will show up. So there are certain traits that people would look for people who would participate in their mastermind.
Yeah, and even back in the day when Napoleon Hill created his mastermind group in the basement, actually, in a boardroom in the basement, he had I think it was about 10 or 12 people on the mastermind group, and he had Abraham Lincoln on there. And he said after a while, he noticed that Abraham Lincoln was always late to the meeting that they were doing. And then when he looked into it, he found out that Abraham Lincoln was always late to his meeting at the White House when he was a president too. So that trait actually carried into the mastermind group of Napoleon Hill, and he didn't know it. So there was obviously the energy of Lincoln that was brought in, and he carried that trait with him. So it tells me that there is a connection. There is no way around to explain that away.
Doesn't this relate to kind of a lighter statement where people say, what would so-and-so say?
Yes.
That's what you do in your mind with your mastermind. In your mind, you say, okay, what do you guys say? What do you say? And we could say it in public. What would so-and-so say?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like, what would what would Buddha say? What would Buddha do right now? What would, whoever do right now? What would President Kennedy do right now? So, yeah, absolutely. So if you think about all the people that you admire the most for each specific reason, you can imagine the quality of thought that would come from a meeting, right? Or weekly meeting, or being able to tap into communicating with those people whenever you needed to. So if you were building a business, or if you were trying to make certain relationships more cohesive, or you're having issues parenting, you can go to your mastermind group and create something that you haven't tried before.
Yeah, and when you're tapping into their consciousness, you are tapping into their knowledge, and you bring that into your presence. And that is one of the big reasons why these masterminds minds are used, and they're so powerful, and the people that are using it, they're gaining phenomenally in it. And this could start with just yourself. And you invite these people into the room that you create in your mind. And that's where you can start a mastermind group. And once you have that, you can expand that into including your family, your church group, and then from there on it can expand.
Right.
So,
and you don't have to tell them that you had an imaginary group, before you invited them in. You don't have to tell them that if you think that
right.
they're going to think you're crazy. But, if when you're setting up your day, for me, I go into my air quote workshop every morning, and I intend my day. I decide how my day is going to go. And it's at that moment where I tap into, where I go around the table and talk to each person, figuratively speaking, in my mastermind group. And then I carry the benefit that I received from having that mastermind, right, air quote, into my day. And my days are always even better than I had expected.
Yeah. And that's what we can expect. It is not the absence of the rule. It is mostly the rule once you plan ahead like that, because then you have intended the day and you place that intention into the future. And then you are ever so often during the day, you think about the outcome of the day. So now you are tapped into that location in time and space outside of the physical even. So you are going towards that, and the energy of the intention brings you up that timeline to the fulfillment of what you wanted to happen at the end of the day.
Okay, so Augie, that was Mastermind 202. So for just to bring it back to 102.
Okay.
To intend your day or to intend anything, all you have to do is think about the end result. Pretend that your day has ended, and how did it go? That can be your intention. Pretend that the meeting that you're going into is already done. How did it go? That's how you can create a really, really easy intention. Yeah.
Yep. Say, Nora, I got a question.
Hey.
Now you're having these conversations with the internal mastermind. Is it about, maybe give a little bit of detail about what you might say to your mastermind in regards to whatever issues or your problems or whatever it is you want to talk about. Can you give them direction about doing things for you, or is this mainly about tapping into them for wisdom?
That's a great question. So the method that I use that always works is I live in the question, because whether you're talking about spirituality or whether you're talking about the subconscious mind, if you always live in the question, your subconscious mind or your higher mind is going out there and bringing the answers to you. So I personally bring a question to each of my mastermind participants.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, you can definitely ask them questions, because then you are activating their energy to find a solution to the question. And let's say if you got 10 people in the group, then they may end up with more than one answer. But by the time it comes back to you, it can filter itself, because the people in the group can actually help filter it to bring you one that stands out more than the others. And asking them questions, like you said, Nori, that is a very important part, because you have the group because you want knowledge and you want energy from them.
Right. So if I had, a question about something that I'm working on, okay, I'm creating this new level of my business. So, Einstein, what in your expansive thinking do you think comes next for me? Dalai Lama, what do I need to incorporate within myself spiritually that will connect with that? Napoleon Hill, what do you have for me so I can be better, at developing relationships and be better at this whole mastermind deal? So the questions can be really, really easy, or you could just say, how does it get better than this? And let them give you what input comes to you.
Yeah. And they will bring you solutions.
Well, folks, it looks like we're coming up on a hard break here. We're going to break for about 3 minutes. And when we come back, Nori, I think you're going to cover a little bit more about the in-depth on what we need to do to quiet our minds.
Yes,
so when we come back, stay tuned. Don't go away, because this is going to be really good. You're going to get some practical steps on how to be quiet and begin to hear from your mastermind.
The LNM Radio Network offers an exciting chat room for you, the listener. Come interact with your fellow listeners and like-minded people and talk about the shows, from the paranormal to conspiracies and anything else LNM related. All you have to do is go to the LNMRadioNetwork.com website and click the LNM official chat page button at the top of the homepage. Then click connect and you'll be able to log in to the chat room. We're here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and the chat room is for both Studio A and Studio B. We look forward to seeing you there.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
This is Jason Bland, host of Paranormal Soup on Late Night in the Midlands Radio Network. And we're streaming as a webcast to our Facebook page, Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup, where we have guests who will blow your mind, live ghost box sessions where you can call in to see if the spirits will talk to you, and the World Wide Web of Weird with the latest in paranormal news and evidence. We're bringing the weird every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern on the LNM Radio Network.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
How to know if you should reach out to a friend. Your friend might be worried, sad,
grumpy, angry,
stressed, weird, rebellious,
anxious,
antisocial,
lonely,
sleeping less,
sleeping more,
eating less,
eating more. Look, there are a lot of things to watch out for, but you know your friend best. So if they're not acting themselves, why not say something? Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Won't you stay and play with me? I'm having a tea party. It's such a lovely day to have a tea party. I'm having a tea party. I'm having a tea party. Won't you stay and play with me?
Some knowledge belongs to us and us alone. The way our girlfriends walk, the way they talk, the way they touch their hair. We hold details that only a sister can know about her girls. But what about our other girls? The ones that we carry with us every day. Can we describe them when everything's right? Can we feel when something's wrong? Our bond with our sister girls gives life. But knowing your breasts can save it. You don't know mine. Go to knowyourgirls.org for the facts you need on breast health. That's knowyourgirls.org. Brought to you by Susan G. Coleman and the Ad Council. You don't know mine. Round and round we go.
And we are back, Broadcast Team Alpha, live on LNM Radio Network. A quick shout out to Daryl and Katie Neely for the excellent production work they're doing. And so we've been talking with Agi and Nori, have been going over what we want to call Mastermind 102, going into some of the basics about what a mastermind is, dealing with some of the characters in our mind that may sound a little schizophrenic about voices in your head, but I think there's something here that we're talking about voices that can help us. So what's that differentiation? How is it that people aren't going to call us crazy, Nori?
Well, voices that are heard, that are chaotic, that are uninvited, are usually something that would need medication. But what we're doing is we are enlisting our imagination. We're enlisting our creative part of our brain and the creative part of our spirit, if you will, to tap into the universal energy and the universal creativity. So if you could imagine, like when I was a little girl, I used to say to my parents, okay, I'm going to meet you in the garden in dreamland. And then, I would go to sleep and I would, hope that I was going to dream that I would meet them in the garden. So if we use that example with our mastermind, we can all go meet in the garden to have a lively conversation in order to better the world, in order to change hurricanes into tropical storms with the intention, in order to impact a big shift on the health of the group. So it's much more intentional, it's on purpose, it's clear-minded, and there's nothing crazy about it. So there's a big difference there.
Yeah, there is a big difference there about things that is uninvited. Because when we're talking about voices in our head, it's not really voices in our head, it is understandings that comes to us. It is concepts and ideas, kind of visual images, not in color necessarily, but it's in form of knowledge.
Okay, so like in the shower, right? How many people have great ideas in the shower?
Yeah, and I think that's my favorite place to brainstorm with myself, because in the shower you got the water running all over you and you are grounded to the earth. So you become a form of an antenna of that earth and it brings the energy up through you. So yeah, that's a wonderful place to do that.
Okay, and that's like 202, so I'm going to go 102 with everybody. So when you're in the shower, let's just say you're really, really relaxed, right? And you know that the phone's not going to ring. You can't be on your iPad. You're not on the computer. You don't have the distractions. So you're in this little enclosed space where you can just take a breath, and relax. And it's in that quiet moment that the ideas that may have gone, below our radar screen because we're too busy doing other things to recognize them, then they can rise to the top and we go, wow, that was brilliant. Why didn't I think of that before?
I get some of my best ideas that way. I really agree with that. And I was being a little facetious earlier about voices, but I think there are people that don't fully understand these kind of concepts that might think we're inviting or opening your brain and opening your mind into something, what if something evil comes in? Well, you're not inviting evil in, you're just inviting wisdom and knowledge. And it's not I guess you could, but I don't think in this context that has anything to do with it.
No, it doesn't.
No, this is like a think tank where, we have a goal, right? If you will, we have an intention, and what we do is contribute money, if you will, in the form of thoughts. You're putting money into the kitty, if you will. So you're putting your thoughts into the goal. So it's not like, tapping into entities or anything like that. And yeah.
This is more about the power of imagination than hearing anything. It's more about imagining and letting those imaginings bring back the echoes of what these masterminds would bring to us. And I guess knowing those characters, like you mentioned earlier, knowing JFK, the more you would understand JFK, the more you would be able to probably hear the impressions or wisdom that would come back. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the only thing that is invited are the ones, the energy of the ones that is on your panel.
Right. Right. So if we had a real life mastermind, we would all, meet weekly, and we would have an agreed intention, whether it was to, work on health, well-being, a business goal, a community goal, whatever it is. We would have that as our goal, and we would contribute collective thought into that goal. And then when you contribute that kind of thought, there is a place in this whole energetic universe where that thought comes together. And like Augie said, it is amplified exponentially. So it makes it even more powerful. And then we can get the results in a more palpable and certain way.
Yeah. Say, Nori, could we talk you into maybe doing a relaxation session? Because relaxing the mind, quieting the mind is so important for this purpose. Could we do one of those?
Sure, we could do one. Mm-hmm. So just to let everybody know, I'm Nori Love. I'm a registered nurse. I'm a certified hypnotherapist, and I'm a double certified law of attraction life coach. So when I was just a nurse, I used guided imagery with many, many, many of my patients. This is not going to be a hypnotherapy. This is going to be like a guided imagery for the purpose of relaxing your body. Because we all know if we're stressed, right, if we've got our shoulders up around our ears, or our fists are balled up, or our neck hurts, you can't have a really clear thought when you're feeling uncomfortable. So too, when your body relaxes, your mind relaxes. And just like when you're in the shower, those amazing, brilliant thoughts can come up to the surface. So with that, I'm not going to take you into a trance like a hypnotherapy. I'm just going to guide you with my words and with my voice. So you can just, if you are in agreement with this, you can just begin to follow the sound of my voice and just relax.
I want to say one thing here. If you, as a listener, is listening to this now while you're driving a car, you're flying airplanes, or operating heavy equipment, turn off the radio.
Yes, absolutely. Only close your eyes. Only close your eyes if you are in a safe and comfortable place to do that. So I'm imagining it's a Sunday afternoon, and like it is, and it's just the perfect time to take a few minutes and to go in. So just begin to settle into your chair. And just allow the weight of your body to fall into the chair or whatever you're sitting on. And just take a deep breath. Just inhale, really filling your lungs. And exhale, just let it go. When we're stressed or have anxious thoughts, you can't really have anxious thoughts if you're concentrating on your breath. So just one more time, take a really deep, slow inhalation. And then just exhale and let it go. And just close your eyes and just notice your eyes. And just imagine that your eyelids are so heavy. Kind of like when you're in a dream and you're in REM sleep, having a dream, and you know that you're dreaming and you think about waking up, but your eyelids are just so heavy. that you just give in to the dream and you let the images just float across your mind. And it could remind you, or it could feel like a time when you were laying in the grass looking up at the clouds, and the clouds were just like floating by with a warm breeze, and you were noticing, oh, look at that shape of that cloud. It looks like a butterfly, or wow, that looks like a bear. Or as the clouds float by, you can just feel the warm sunshine on your skin, the golden warm sunshine, like golden warm butter, just bathing your skin and igniting your senses. And it gives you that deep relaxation, kind of like when you're at the beach and your eyes are closed and you can hear the waves coming in and going out and coming in and going out. And at the beach, you might even be in a hammock. And in the hammock, you feel so weightless. It's like the weight of your body is so not even existent, or like you're floating in a pool, and your muscles are so relaxed because you know you're supported as you swing from side to side and side to side. And you might even hear some birds in the distance as you feel the warm golden sun on your skin. And even behind your eyes, your closed eyelids, you have the sense of gold, of goldness. And if you could imagine that goldness gives way to bright lemon yellow. There's nothing like the color of lemon yellow. It's so yellow that you might even taste lemon, and you can imagine how the skin of the lemon with all the little bumps feels as you touch it. Or maybe you can think of purple. You can imagine, see, or feel the color purple like the deepest purple grape you've ever seen. And you can, oh, it's so purple, you can almost taste grapes. Or you might imagine, see, or feel purple velvet on your warm skin. And then a beautiful breeze comes by and brisks across the side of your cheek, and you look up into the clouds again and you see the most beautiful shapes. And as you just allow the clouds to move by, just allow the weight of your hips to fall through the chair. Just release the tension in your stomach. Release the tension in your lower back. And relax your organs. And from your hip to your toes, relax your right leg. And from your toes to your hip, relax your left leg. So from your hips to both toes, your body is heavy, just loose and limp and relaxed. Just let go. And relax your stomach. Relax your back. Just notice where your back touches whatever you're sitting or laying on, and relax each point where it comes in contact. Just let go. Just imagine your body is like a rag doll, just loose and limp and comfortable. And as you breathe deeply with each exhalation, you allow the relaxation to go deeper. Relax your ribs. Relax your chest. And just notice how your breathing is even more free and deep. Relax underneath your collarbones. Relax your neck. Relax the big and the small muscles of your neck. Relax your jaw. Allow there to be space between your teeth, and relax your tongue. Relax your facial muscles. Relax your eyebrows. Relax behind your eyes. Relax your scalp and just go check up through your body if you notice any points that are a little bit tight, and just let that go. And just take a deep breath in fully and exhale. And take one more breath, just relaxing fully, and exhale. And in a minute, I'm just going to count from 3 to 1 to bring you back into a more conscious state, a more aware state. So 3, getting ready to come back, feeling relaxed and renewed and rejuvenated. 2, feeling into your fingers and toes, wiggling them. And 1, welcome back. How do you guys feel?
Feel alive.
You feel alive?
That was great.
Aww.
Feels wonderful.
Yeah.
I didn't want to come back. I was happy out there on the beach.
Right. So when we allow ourselves to relax, we can think so much more clearly. We can intentionally direct our thoughts so much more directly, right? Because we're so present. And that's the benefit of relaxing before you participate in a mastermind. So from this place of relaxation, you would join in with your mastermind and think of what could be created from that.
Absolutely. And this deals with actually a scientific concept that has been around for about 30, 40 years, and that's called alpha thinking. That's one of the things that I want to get into more later on when we start the meditation class. Alpha thinking is where you slow down your mind like that, and then you go into solving challenges and so on. So this has got many different aspects to it, and what you did here brought us down to the point where I think everybody that did this descended deep into the alpha range of awareness or brainwave patterns. And that's where all the magic is. That's where all creativity is accessible to us.
Exactly. And that's where our monkey mind and our chattery mind pulls us out of. So that's the reason that we would want to practice and become good at quieting our mind and relaxing ourselves in order to reach the alpha state, which is just a brainwave. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it's at this point we can begin to ask our mastermind, whatever it is, those questions.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So you can imagine the difference of the questions that you would ask if you just got home from work and, you know, your jaw is still tight from, you know, driving in traffic, and you're going to ask your mastermind a question there, or you ask the mastermind a question from this point. You can imagine the difference. Yeah.
Yes, and I see we got 1 minute left of the show now.
Oh.
Yes, this was wonderful.
Yes.
Really
We're all in a nice, relaxed state.
Yay.
So.
Yay.
And I very much recommend for people, we're going to be back here, you know, in a week. And in between now and then, once you listen to this, do this on your own.
Rewind it. Yeah.
Go through a session like this with yourself and see how you're coming up, because it should work out just like this.
And you know, some people may be thinking, well, you know, I didn't sign up for this today. I came here to listen to a radio show. So that's great. So maybe you weren't in the mood to do this, but, you know, there might be a time during the week where you go, you know, let me just try that. Let me give it a try.
Absolutely. Well, I guess we're going to sign off again. Broadcast Team Alpha signing off, and stay tuned for next week. We're going to get even deeper. It's going to get better.
Yay.
And catch us on Facebook, catch us at our website, broadcastteamalpha.com, and on YouTube and on iTunes. Listen to on Apple Podcasts on iTunes. You can get Broadcast Team Alpha. So this episode will be on there. So look us up.
Thank you.
Until then.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.